Hello, Horses Shop. First in chat. Horses Shop. It's not.
No, it's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. Insane Friends Wednesday show. This is our 31st episode of the Insane Friends show. Every Wednesday night at 7:30. Unless you've forgotten what day it is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know who would do that. Horses Shop. First in chat. Congratulations. Thank you for being here. We during the car show season, we start out the show with shout outs for all the event coordinators and the car shows, the events that are the local events from Tennessee up Gatlinburg area all the way down to Atlanta. Mostly on the north side of Atlanta where my mom still lives, and right here in Dalton. We do like to Haley Motorsports. It's great to see you. Curb Appeal Lawn Care. All right. Welcome, everybody.
I'm not there yet. I'll be there in a minute.
So.
Oh, there's Dr. Seuss. I don't want Dr. Seuss.
Car show season is over, so we don't really have any events to announce right now. Noah Gallman. Hey, how you doing? But we still have the Insane Friends live calendar. For all of those that are living in cooperation with us to try to facilitate growth for all your channels and stuff, and provide a place where you can go meet a lot of people. Every night of the week, there's somebody, one of the hashtag Insane Friends living. Right here is the calendar. And we are Wednesday night, hashtag Insane Friends. You are here. Saneauto, 7:30. Congratulations, you made it. Then on Thursday night, there's Dorito and Lucha Cabra at 9:30, followed by Easy 2 Tips, Tricks, etc., etc. That is Ken in California. He's live from 10:30 to 12.
Wow.
Then on Friday, it is Horses Shop at 8:30, followed by Twisted R Racing at 9 p.m. And Saturday, it's Shoppers Rule 1 at 6:30 p.m., followed by Fab Automotive Detailing at 9 p.m. Then Sunday, we're right back here at Saneauto at 7:30, followed by Gregory Salvatore at 9 p.m. If you are on the hashtag Insane Friends live calendar, please continue to shout out everybody else on the calendar. If you want to be on the calendar, the rules are you don't live on top of each other. You try live in cooperation with each other, and you shout the other people's lives out. Monday, Etard Adventures is live at 9 p.m. and Tuesday, Bubsification is live at 9 p.m. Wednesday, you come right back here to set a show.
No.
Awesome. How are y'all doing this week? Matthew Johnson, yes, thank you.
I had a dentist
thank you for the
appointment.
love.
That's so good.
We're glad you like the videos. Camaro time, all right.
Oh, got nobody.
I like that Camaro time. I had forgotten all about that tagline, and that is a good tagline. Does everybody know what time it is? It's Camaro time. Curb Appeal Lawn Care. Victor working on a lift kit on the truck. Keep an eye out for the video. All right, that's great. Thank you for letting us know. So Curb Appeal is working on the lift kit on that beautiful black truck.
Okay.
And
half the people
so he's going to be releasing a video on it.
Have thumbs.
It should be very interesting.
Because only half the people have given thumbs up. None about that.
Noah Gallman's been moving to Hayden Tyler Road, so he's been packing up stuff. But we know the feeling. Believe me, we know the feeling. We still haven't got everything out of that big 10,000 square foot building, and haven't moved it all down here to a smaller building, which eventually our first solution to that is we are buying a couple of semi-truck trailers And some of the tools and equipment and inventory, all the parts and stuff, will be stored in those semi-truck trailers for a while. And we will either build another building beside this 3,000 square foot building to get it out of the trailers, or we will be getting another piece of property elsewhere and building a building on that. So there's a lot of transition going on.
To have you,
but either way,
Chopper's Rule. I'm glad you were able to make it.
Chopper's Rule 1, awesome. Oh, Haley Motorsports says his race season is firing up, so they're very busy now. If you haven't seen what he does, there's a lot of point of view video of the racing, which is awesome and very interesting. And so check out Haley Motorsports. As a matter of fact, everybody in here, check out each other's channels and make sure you're supporting each other. If you see any names that you're not familiar with, definitely click on those 3 little dots to the right of the message in the chat.
Horses Shop has an announcement.
Okay, Horses Shop's got an announcement. Noah Gomez has got a beautiful view of Fort Mountain out my back porch. You see people on the lookout. Really, Noah? Really? We have a beautiful view of Fort Mountain out our living room window right there.
Yeah.
So that's very close. Doug Sweener, hello. Horses Shop's got an announcement. We're all sitting on the edge of our seat.
Waiting.
Curb Appeal Lawn Care. Yeah, he said Curb Appeal Lawn Care. I agree with what he says. Don't keep us in suspense.
Yeah. I don't like surprises, so
we're already in suspense with oh, Camaro says I see Batman. Maritime says I see Batman.
I know, and I said no, Batman.
Oh, I'm totally missed that.
I already did that.
Okay.
We been there, we done that.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
And I named it after Crystal. I'm going to try to
There's David's
do one
nice
last
Mustang right behind me
this Friday, and after that, I'm stopping all videos and
Carol
streams
insured
for the
that
rest
car
of
with Haggerty.
December. I'm taking my Christmas break from YouTube. Okay.
All right. So Christmas break for Horses Shop. Christmas YouTube break. But he's planning on doing another stream this Friday. But never fear, New Year's comes quickly.
Yeah.
And he will be back.
Yeah, awesome.
Says he will be uploading again somewhere between January and February. That's about the time of World of Wheels. So World of Wheels in Chattanooga should be in January. So it shouldn't be long.
Oh, my goodness.
And I've got quite a bit of stockpiled footage that I do need to get to editing and putting up there. I was experimenting with it. I don't know if y'all noticed, we put a new video up this week. I was experimenting with another editor that was supposed to be easier, and it was easier.
But Doug Sweener says small engine, hashtag small engine nation.
I do like the way the video turned out and everything. I did that with Movee, M-U-V-E-E editor, but I'm going back to learning DaVinci, because Movee editor I wouldn't recommend it. It doesn't hold a candle to DaVinci. Whatever time and effort it's going to take me to learn DaVinci is well worth it. I do like some of the automatic and user-friendly aspects of the Movee editor software. But like I said, it's not worth it.
My light away. Oh no, I put it back.
There's a couple of fatal flaws
You better not
with movie compared to DaVinci. Number one, DaVinci can do a lot more than the movie editor can do. And you get a lot more choices, a lot more control with the DaVinci. And if you're wondering about DaVinci and you haven't used DaVinci before, Camaro Time has several videos on how to use DaVinci, and he's got links in the description of each one of those how-to videos on DaVinci editing to the DaVinci software, if you want to check that out. But the movie editor, if you come across that and you're thinking of downloading that and using that, I would not recommend it. I would say go get the DaVinci. Because I used it. I did make one good video out of it, and you can see that video. It's the what did I title that video?
I don't know.
Famous movie cars. Titled it Famous Movie Cars, and it's a really good video. I mostly made that video for her, the queen of the car scene. Okay, there's a couple of things that you're going to find out the hard way with movie editor that you're not going to like. And you won't find out until after you've invested some time and effort in using it, which is a shame because they should tell you up front, but they don't. So I guess there's three things. Number one, they're not as upfront as they should be about their editing software. Number two, all the things that you can't do with it, all the choices you don't have with it, that you do have with DaVinci. Yes, it is a little bit easier. Yes, it is a little bit faster to edit your video with that movie software than it is with DaVinci. But it's not worth it, because then when you go to upload it, you've only got a few music selections, and they're good music too, though. But once you get that music on there, and then you go to upload it to you go to upload that to YouTube, and you want to publish that video, you immediately find out that it has copyrighted material on it. So when they say that you can make videos with it for YouTube, I mean, it specifically says YouTube, and then you find out later when you go to upload it to YouTube that, well, yeah, it'll physically go to YouTube, but it's not YouTube friendly. It is, their music stuff is copyrighted material, and so now you can't make any money off your video. So that right there is a deal killer to me. The other deal killer is that, you know, their trial version, while you're using it to try it out, you know, the price of it, like $10 a month, isn't bad. But you'd think with the trial version, you get to use it for a while, and then you'll have to start paying for it if you want to continue to use it, something like that. No, what you find out is that you do all the work, get your video edited and stuff, and then you go to save it outside of the movie software to anywhere outside the movie software, anywhere that you can use it, whether it's be YouTube, Facebook, whatever, to your own computer, whatever. And you can only save like 30 seconds of it unless you buy the paid version. And then even after that, you find out that when you do upload it to some place like YouTube or something, it's considered copyrighted material, and now you can't monetize it. So just don't bother with movie editor. Keep using something like DaVinci, and use the music that YouTube provides, and save yourself some trouble, time, and effort. Now, Camaro Time has a really good video this week that touches on a topic, or brings up a couple of questions that I like about what GM is doing. And I've seen a couple other good videos on this too in the community, in the Sane community, the hashtag Insanefriends, that we're touching on what GM's doing. And a couple of the interesting things that I found out that I wanted to ask y'all is, does anybody here know besides you, queen of the car scene, does anybody else here know how many, and this, it doesn't have to be an exact number, how many American workers, and this includes Canada, North American workers in US and Canada, does GM actually have still here in North America that where they haven't already shifted production overseas to places like China? How many workers do they still have left building cars here? Does anybody know? The number is surprising, I'll give you that. It sure did surprise me. Camaro time, you nailed it. There's only 50,000 workers left. And this is before they drop the planned 8,000 workers that they're planning on dropping. Hey, Lonesome's Garage, what's happening? So, I mean, and this is US and Canada. And I know a lot of people are like, Canada, but you got to keep in mind, Canada is such a very close neighbor and such a tight ally with us, and you know, such a good friend to the US for so long that you cannot dispute that anything that affects Canada is going to affect the United States.
Lonesome's Garage, hi, how you doing?
Yeah, Curb and Fill Lawn Care says this whole editing thing is new to me. I've always done them off my phone in my account. Now I'm editing software for my PC, so we're going to see how it goes. Yeah, it is it's a learning experience, believe me. I've been editing stuff for a couple years now, and I'm in the middle of transitioning from the old Movie Maker software, which I'd gotten comfortable with. It is very user-friendly. But there's really no support for it anymore because it's a much older program that Microsoft don't really want to have anything to do with anymore. They have a whole new software that they're using, and they're just not going to have anything to do with the old Movie Maker software anymore. So it's getting harder and harder to keep up with it. And if I ever change hard drive or computer or anything like that and lose that software, I can't get another copy of it. So I have to learn something else. And Camaro Time turned me on to DaVinci, and I've been trying to learn that. And DaVinci is a lot more like other really good and really popular softwares, editing softwares.
Yes,
so once I learn it, I'll be able to do just about any
Production.
editing software there is.
How you doing?
I just tried that movie software a little bit as an experiment because it was supposed to be so much easier and simpler and everything.
Now,
and in a lot of respects it was, but my gosh, it's not worth it.
well, you missed those up there completely. Starting with that one, and then going to that one and to that one. You missed all of those.
No, I didn't.
And
No, I didn't. You.
now,
Thank you.
there was a question from Camaro Time.
He said, what did you think about the electric Camaro drag car, Victor? I am glad to see that some of the, I'd like to see more of the original equipment manufacturers getting in there and competing with any and all types of electric race cars. And I mean, they should have an answer to, and keep in mind, Tesla is an American car company. But whether it be an American car company or Japanese car company or European car company, you know, every American car company should have an answer to anything that Tesla or anybody else puts on the strip. With electric, with diesel, with gas, they should have something electric, diesel, and gas to answer that and compete with that and show us what they can do. Show us what they can build. They've got the money, they've got the research, they got the talent, they got more money and resources than we do, they should build something to go out there and compete. And so I like it. I like that they're getting into the game. I like that there is something there that they can use. I know there are a lot of people are going to get some hate, and a lot of people are going to give it some love, but that makes it that much more interesting.
Well,
and so we'll see what they can do with it.
I don't want to see an electric Mustang.
It would be nice if they make sure that they have something. Yeah, I like the idea like with Mopar has, with where their really powerful drag car and stuff is still streetable. I mean, you can still drive the thing on the street. So I'd like to see them do that and have, you know, electric drag cars, electric race cars that you can still drive on the street, similar to what, you know, the Tesla S does, where you can simply change some settings on the screen and drag race, and then change it back to your daily driving routine and drive home. I like the idea of that. And maybe change out some tires or something like you do with the Dodge Demon. And because that to me makes it much more interesting and much more difficult too, because it's more difficult to make a drag car that you can drive home than it is to make just a pure drag car or a pure drive home car. Horse's Shop says there's a tunnel about 1 to 2 hours away from me that goes to Canada. Wow. You go in, drive under the water, and then boom, you're in Canada. Boom, shakalaka, you're in Canada.
Damn.
I wonder if you could make just a really good business out of import-export, you know, legal business, of course, doing some import-export back and forth to Canada, or deliveries or something. Because I guess that's my businessman part of my brain going, and the first thing I think of is, how can I capitalize on that? I mean, there's got to be a business in that, make a lot of money. It seems like you got access to a tunnel going to Canada. Somehow there's money to be made. Yeah, DSW Joyride just says, yeah, that drag car looks cool and it's interesting. They're moving in that direction. Yeah, that's the way I feel about it. I get interested. I mean, there's got to be something interesting coming out of that. Curb Appeal Law Care says he bought Video Studio Ultimate 2018 by Corel. Well, you have to keep us posted on how that's going. And check out some of Camaro Time's instructional videos on DaVinci. Maybe you can do some of that too, on when you learn how to do something and then make a video on you doing it to teach others how to do it. And you might come up with some interesting videos that way, or videos on how to make videos. And then we'd be interested to see how it compares to the DaVinci and how similar and dissimilar it is. Because I'm hearing that the DaVinci is one of those like gateway softwares. I mean, if you can learn how to do DaVinci, then you'll have skills that transfer over to a lot of these other high-end editing softwares. And Horsey Shop says that tunnel is called the Detroit-Windsor Tunnel. That is a good car guy name right there. I like that name, Detroit-Windsor Tunnel.
Wow.
Hey, there would be an interesting video if you driving through that tunnel and make a driving video through the tunnel and back. DSW Joyride says, and I'll be surprised if we don't see a Charger here soon as well. See, yeah, that's another hope of mine too that gets me excited about things like that. Is that could start, you know, electric Mopar racing, an electric Ford out there doing some racing, and you know everybody gets in the game, and it's just a whole nother aspect, a whole nother genre. Craig Durbin, yeah, Insane Friends, welcome. Awesome. That is true. Curb Phil Lawn Care has a good point. Electric drag car is just not the same without the heart-pounding sound of the engine. Yes, I do miss that when I see electric cars racing and stuff. I do like that sound.
Yeah, that's the part that I don't like. That's the part where it don't make noise.
But you know, diesels sound different too, and we like seeing them go fast.
I don't wanna,
when they do those big tractor pulls and stuff.
That's why I don't want a Mustang, electric Mustang.
JC's Toy Playhouse is here. It's great to see you again. JC's Toy Playhouse said, hey, it's been a while since we said hello. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you very much, and happy holidays to you, and a Merry Christmas to you, and a Happy New Year's. Yeah, Horses Shop said just checked it. It's 2 hours away from him. Yeah, that's a lot closer than we are. It's probably about 14, 16 hours away from us. Anywhere the Canadian line on the East Coast here is going to be probably around 14, 16 hours away from us. Land time, anyway. I don't know how long it would be to fly. Probably a couple hours to Atlanta and get on the plane. Another 2 hours to fly over the line. So maybe 4 to 6 hours away by 550 mile per hour Boeing 707. Love taking off on those things, man. Tell you what, you sit back in that seat and they start going fast and faster and faster, and when you get so fast you think you're going to take off, it does. It takes off. You are flying. It's almost as fun as flying around in a helicopter. Kathy Durbin, hi to you too.
What?
Kathy Durbin wants to know, has everyone done your Christmas shopping? Okay, is everybody broke from buying car parts? I think that's what she's asking. Or tools. And if you ain't broke from buying car parts, you broke from buying tools, or both. Hey, there's a great question for the audience. Everybody sound off who bought more tools and who bought more car parts for Christmas.
I bought my sweetie a tool for Christmas.
Camaro Time says, did you know NASCAR is trying to go all electric? I would think they would make an all electric division with all electric races, but I wouldn't think they would shift over all of their gas races to
Kathy
electric.
Durbin wants to know if you want to go to work for her.
Doing what? I'm sorry.
I don't think so.
Probably. I don't know. I run 3 businesses right now, so I'm not sure if I could, if I wanted to. Make me an offer I can't refuse. Now, with the back to the NASCAR going electric, I know there's a lot of full electric races now. They did have some crossover. There were some of the I forget the type of races they call what was that with the I'm having brain lock. My coffee's wore off. The what are those cars I'm trying to think of? The Indy cars, like the Indianapolis cars that do the slalom type stuff, the really curves and turbocharged 4 cylinders. There was a lot of those that were electric, and they said, look, y'all gonna have to race your own races. And they have their own electric races for those kind of cars. I would imagine NASCAR would do the same thing, but I don't know. I haven't really done any research on that. I wonder if Camaro Time is going to do a video on that and educate us all. Nacho Dad's Garage, hello. Good to see you. Scott Pearson Tools and More is here. Now, I bet I could guess that Scott bought more tools than car parts this year. What about the rest of you? Who bought more tools and who bought more car parts? Okay, Curb Appeal. Lawn Care is thinking about doing truck pulls with his truck at the local fair, just for the fun of it. I don't know what it's like up there, but around here, I wouldn't want to try to compete with those guys. And the truck pulls they do around here, those guys have got some serious monster trucks doing those pulls. And they are hard on them. You'd think there would be no way in the world that they could break anything on those trucks as monstrous and heavy duty as they are, but they do. They break them. You're right, Horses Shop. We would pretty much have to fly, go to Canada. You can just drive there. But I could just drive right up into the Appalachian Mountains if I want to. Kathy Durbin says tools, more tools than parts. And Camaro Time says tools. He had to buy more tools for work. I completely understand that. You know, he's just recently switched from heating and air to being full-on mechanic at a professional shop near his house. And so he has been having to buy some more and more tools. A lot of these newer cars, you really have to have a lot of special tools. Well, and then the next newer cars are going to have more special. It's a never-ending battle. And so and Haley Motorsports is car parts by far is the most he's bought. More car parts than tools. I can see that too. As all the racing and stuff you do, I mean, you've got to go through some parts. And a lot of them be some of the same stuff over and over again. So on the same types of vehicles. But yeah, there's going to be always something. Horses Shops has bought nothing so far. Oh no. Oh no. That sounds stressful.
I got everything I had to get.
And Craig Durbin says just bought more fuel. On that subject, we have gone around, and because the gas prices have gone down and down and down, we have gone around and with one vehicle after another and filled just about everything plumb full, including a few gas cans. So we've stocked up on some fuel. Scott Pearson Tools and More says, on the same subject as Camaro time, the NASCAR said they are testing. They're already testing. So that is very interesting. We're going to have to keep an eye on that and see what becomes of that with NASCAR and the electric racing and stuff.
That's great. I'm glad to hear it, Fab. Got a couple. I've got how many taped, filmed?
I think we got five videos for your channel filmed already. That's some more editing that I need to do while she's selling the crap out of some insurance. I mean, what was it you got? How many quotes yesterday?
11.
11 quotes in one day. Okay. I skipped a few somehow. Okay, Curb Bill Long Care says broke from buying truck parts. So I think that qualifies as you got more more parts for Christmas than you did tools. So we're going to put you in the column with more parts than tools for this Christmas season. Kathy Durden says got to go take care of 7 clients. Oh wow, it's a lot. And she says I'm here, Kathy Durbin, and do vitals. Craig Durbin says my wife is personal care associate for group home of disabled people. And my mother did that. And she's a LPN, and she worked at Grady for nearly 30 years, and then she started doing home health care, hospice, end of life home health care. And then for a while she ran a home with 4 clients at a time. I don't think she did more than 4 or 5 at a time, though. Well, I don't think she could have in that house. It was a big house, but the more people you put in it, the smaller it seems to get. But when I was a teenager, a lot of times I would go see her at Grady, and then when she started doing the home health care, I was doing the I would go to the houses with her and stuff. There was some transition time where she worked at Grady, and then she would at night and the weekends be going to these houses and take care of these elderly people. But I've been on the other end of the sheets and the I don't know what they call the new ones now. They got these fancy new things they put under people now that have handles on them. We didn't have that. We just twist up the corners of the sheets and one get the other end and the other and move them and change everything and clean up everything and then put the people back in their beds. There's a lot of hard back-breaking work involved in that. A lot of dirty work too. Kathy Durbin says tools. Mostly tools. More tools than car parts. Greg Durbin says got a free airbag replacement. Does that count? Yes, that counts. It counts.
That was on
and get extra bonus for getting it for free.
Mustang, she said.
Camaro Time says he's supposed to get one of those for the Tahoe, but GM is putting them off and the fix hasn't been made yet. Yeah. I remember back in the 90s, there were several transmission fixes, not just for GM, but for other manufacturers as well, that we ended up fixing that later came under recall, but we had already fixed it aftermarket in the shops with better fixes because GM and Ford and Chrysler just took so long to come up with a fix for the transmission problem that, you know, people had to have their cars back. People needed to get back and forth to work. So we had to come up with fixes for them. And then all those fixes we came up with always ended up somewhere, some other company would come up with a similar fix and start selling the parts. And then we didn't have to fabricate stuff anymore. We could just buy the aftermarket part and put them, or that fix would be included in the ship kit. And so it got easier and better. And then sometime later, a recall or a technical service bulletin would come out and it'd be like, oh yeah, we've got this fixed for it. And we're all like thinking, we've been fixing that for months now. Way to come in after the fix, GM. And then when I was building transmissions for GM for a while, I had to sneak in some aftermarket parts sometimes because I wasn't allowed to use any aftermarket parts, but there was a lot of transmission stuff. There was no way to fix it without the aftermarket parts. You couldn't just put it back the way it was factory right before it failed and then watch it fail again. Scott Pearson Tools and More says Pikes Peak Hill Climb Race record is held by an all-electric car. Mike Ryan no longer holds the record. Wow, that's news to me. Thanks for bringing that up. I didn't know that. And Craig Durbin says, I thought the Polaris Slingshot broke that record, Scott. Does that count as a car or a motorcycle, though? There's going to be one, if it hadn't already flashed behind us, there's going to be one behind us, a 2018 Polaris Slingshot right behind us. I filmed it at the World of Wheels this year. There should be more coming next year in January. Scott Pearson Tools and More says very expensive sport and you will never get your money back. I lost it now. You'll never get your money back in pulling trucks. Different categories. All racing seems to be like that to me. I've got several cousins. My mother's sister has like 3 boys, and they all race in Atlanta. And I mean, a lot. And it's constantly breaking them. It just keeps them broke. And they win. And when they do win, they win some money. But it all ends up going back into the race cars and stuff. It's very expensive. They all make good money too, but they just never have any because Curb Pill says they do a stock class here with lighter sleds, just local boys having fun to do, not too much breakage. That sounds like a good thing to do, because I know a lot of guys around here that would love to do that. They can't really afford to compete with the big boys that have lots of money. Craig Durbin says gas is down to under $2 a gallon here in Kansas. We passed a station today that is at 198. We've been we're taking some pictures of some of them at 199 and 198 and put them up on our Facebook in the past week. And so it's pretty exciting to see that gas go under $2. Yeah, yeah, Craig. We probably both need some coffee at this point because we end up, in order to be able to get to sleep on time and get that good deep sleep, cut off the caffeine at 6 o'clock. But from the moment we wake up till 6 o'clock, we are coffee, 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 caffeine. She does the sodas too, but I haven't drank sodas in years, other than maybe every once in a while, if we eat out at a restaurant or something, I might have a soda because they don't really have anything else. Poor sweetie baby. Coldwater, Michigan. Didn't you start out somewhere in Michigan?
Yep. Wyandotte.
Wyandotte, Michigan, right there. Craig Durbin says his in-laws live there in Coldwater, Michigan. Yeah, her granddad was in Wyandotte, Michigan, and she came from down there. But we met in Atlanta in the 80s, and she'd been living in Atlanta for a while at that point.
Yeah, I've been in Atlanta since I was 4. So I'm more Atlanta than anything else. Oh, let's see.
Okay, Craig Durbin says, when we eat out, I love water with lemon and lime in it. Yeah, that is good. That is good. You put that if they've got the actual lemons, not that.
I don't remember anything about
thing.
Michigan except there was a lot of snow. It was cold and damp, and I didn't like it.
Actually, Camaro says, I'm a soda guy, but man, give me some hot chocolate and it is on. I actually had some hot chocolate today. And Craig Durbin says, Camaro time loves some mini marshmallows. I did not have many marshmallows in my hot chocolate today. Did not have that.
Missing.
Yeah, Camaro time also says, I got married in the 80s. We got married in the 80s. Didn't we? Sure did. That's another thing we got in common, Camaro time. Kathy Durbin says, so you know where Allen Park is.
And I was telling her I don't remember nothing about.
Oh, I see. That's why that came up.
Yep.
But my middle name is Allen, and that's what I went by in high school.
Guess
and when we
what?
got together.
That's what I called them.
And now I live in my dad's hometown. And my first cousin is Alan, and he spells it the same way you spell Allen Park. And so it would be very confusing for me to continue to go by Alan. Of course, I haven't for years. After high school, took some college courses and stuff, and I was going by my first name again. Then that was just like a high school thing.
I drink coffee all day long. Literally have my coffee in my office. I start drinking coffee at 7 o'clock when I wake up, and don't stop until I get home from work at 5 o'clock. So,
Yeah, we're both like getting that coffee going and first thing in the morning is a huge priority for both of us. We completely agree on that. Coffee comes first.
Huggies come first, then coffee.
Yeah, Huggies and then coffee and then Huggies and then more coffee.
I can't make my coffee until I get a Huggy. Just can't do it.
Horse the Chop says he finally found out that his grandpa was stationed in Mindanao Island in the Philippines.
Wow.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
And as far as going back to Michigan, nunca, never, no.
I think she got spoiled in Peru with all that warm weather. If that wasn't good enough, all those years in Florida too, and even here is cold to her.
It freezes.
Georgia is cold to her. You know she likes hot weather.
I got my blanket.
Oh, yeah. Camaro time, I wouldn't be able to do the tobacco chewing thing. No.
That's nasty.
Yeah, I'm with you, Camaro time. Yuck. No, it's not for me.
I have people come in my office with their cup. It is so gross. They do.
Bill says hot chocolate and lots of marshmallows. We'll have to do that on our live sometime. We'll have to have some hot chocolate with our live one night.
Yeah.
Of course, I think I know why we haven't been doing that, because chocolate is another one of those things you can't have after 6 o'clock because it does kind of the same thing to you as caffeine.
Last night I had a hot chocolate in the bed and I went right to sleep.
Yeah, you can do that.
And it was awesome. Drinking that.
I have a hard time with that.
I was drinking that hot chocolate and then they would just sipping it away and it was so good. I made a very thick hot chocolate. I put milk in a pan with some cocoa and some sugar, and I drank it, and that was so good.
Hillbilly Hollers here. How you doing, Hillbilly?
Yeah.
I think he was talking about it being cold outside. He drinks coffee, and then when it's not cold outside, it's Mountain Dew.
Oh,
I don't think he do the cold coffee thing.
Somebody didn't like it. That's just rude. See, we got a thumbs down, people.
Greg Durbin says warm milk and honey. That will put your butt to sleep. But I'm a little bit lactose intolerant.
Yeah, it's not a pretty sight.
No.
It's not nice for me.
Especially when trying to go to sleep, laying there in the bed, anything milky or cheese, no. No, terribly uncomfortable.
No, don't
The
do
Maritime's got to go.
Stinky.
Well, we'll be going here soon anyway.
Yeah, with that.
She's had a really long day.
Stressful.
Yep. Had another experience with the dentist today, so it takes it out of her. She don't like going to the dentist.
But I got a pretty new tooth.
So does anybody have anything to announce for what they put up on their channel this last week and what's going to be up on there next week? Something like that, hillbilly holler, yeah. It's not good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of burping and belching and stuff going on too, with milk and cheese and stuff.
It's just ugly. And I gotta live with it.
Yeah, she's learned not to feed me a lot of cheese or milk, and it's not good to have a lot of dairy anyway.
Oh, I feel better. Thanks, Kathy. I'm just tired. It's just okay. I am extremely afraid of the dentist. I mean, it's a very bad phobia. You know, some people are afraid of clowns, and some people are afraid of heights and spiders, and it sends them into a panic attack. Well, me, it's a dentist, and I've had a dentist with his hand in my mouth today, so it's just not pretty. It just drains me, makes me emotionally just drained afterward.
Fab says me too. Hate going to the dentist. Yeah.
I think they're the devil.
Hillbilly Holler says RC Tony and Brad are supposed to be over for tomorrow for a cart ride, so they should be up this weekend. I'm assuming he's meaning the video should be up this weekend. Horse Shop says he has an O plus blood type, so he loves that meat and dairy. Scott Pearson and Horse's Shop are having a good conversation about some of the obscure small wars back in history.
I'm going to get a soda. I'll be back. I'm thirsty.
Okay, baby.
Oh. I'll be back, people. Oh. Oh. Wrong way.
Yeah, we've still got stuff in the way over there, don't we? And we are in negotiations with somebody over the building in Tennessee, and then another guy called interested in being a tenant in one of my building spaces in Tennessee, both of which have quite a few pieces of tools, equipment, and parts in them. So we're moving a lot of tools and parts right now. And then, of course, we still have the parts store, which includes an eBay store, which we ship out 30 to 60 parts a month through that on our internet sales. And so I have a lot of that inventory that is ready to ship and still needing to be listed and categorized in here. Craig Durbin says, so you're leaving Tennessee and moving to Atlanta? No, if I sell my property in Tennessee, we're living in Georgia right now, in North Georgia, near the mountains. I'm going to literally see Fort Mountain out my living room window. I'm sort of from Atlanta because I'm an Air Force brat and I'm from everywhere in the South.
And I was raised in Atlanta.
Yeah, and like her, I spent most of my time in Atlanta because that's my mother's hometown, is Atlanta. And so I have a lot of relatives in Atlanta through my mother. But my dad's hometown is here in Dalton, right here in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. From the mountains all the way to Tunnel Hill, Chatsworth, Dalton.
Chattanooga, Hillbilly Holler.
Right, that kind of place. But at some point, we left Atlanta and went and built a really big business. Well, we went to Chattanooga, and I was building a big business there. She ended up with a job in Peru, of all places. And she ended up running a small airline down there and a teaching English
institute.
At the English Institute. And so we were apart for a while, right? But I ended up with a couple of buildings up there. Make a long story short, the second largest transmission rebuilding facility up there. We got back
together and we've been together ever since, and we'll be together from now on forever and ever.
Yep, we're gonna find some vampires and get bit so that we can live together forever. But we're not taking no jobs away from each other anymore.
No.
And we're not going to be separated anymore because that just took too long to get back together last time. Way too long.
Yeah, we're two parts of orange.
Does that mean I'm the peel?
We need to be together to be whole.
The scratchy outside.
We need to be together to be whole.
But my mother still lives in Atlanta, and my sister does too.
Every mom's transmission possible. He's been a master mechanic, and he had the second largest transmission rebuilding facility in Chattanooga. So,
yep.
It's better to ask, what kind of transmission have you not worked on? And maybe he'll be able to tell you something.
Yeah, that would be some of the very, very late model stuff, like the 6-speeds and the 8-speeds.
Bye, Carba.
Would be the ones that I haven't done. And, you know, of course, you know, owning a facility like that, there were several times when I had really good crew and I didn't have to do a lot of the stuff personally myself. But then there was always somebody quitting, or I had to fire somebody, and then I go take over their position until I got somebody else. I'm right back in the thick of it again. And then I was never able to go a day or two without jumping in there in the trenches with my guys, because I've always been the lead from the trenches kind of guy.
Trans. I don't know.
Eton Fuller Trans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're talking big truck stuff. I did I did big truck stuff. I actually master certified in heavy duty trucks, but that was from when I was a teenager, and I didn't know any better, and I tried doing that big stuff for a while. And you talk about wiping you out. I mean, just dead dog tired at the end of the day. I mean, that stuff was just horrifically taxing on your body. I just couldn't take it. I went back to working on regular cars and light trucks again.
Don't find a hillbilly vampire. They only have half a fang.
Well, that's all we're going to find around here. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, hillbilly vampires and South American vampires around here.
Chupacabras.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. He did mean that. Spelt with the EA. Yeah, Craig, you're right. That's the correct spelling for it. Eton Fuller. Yeah. Kathy Durbin says my dad was from Georgia. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what part? Yeah, Hillbilly Holler says that's the semi-truck trans. Almost cheaper to replace it. Yeah, you're right. But I wouldn't use the word cheaper. All that stuff, that semi-truck stuff, expensive and more expensive. Scott Pearson Tools Morris's Allison transmission. I have done some Allison transmissions, but it was mostly the smaller Allison transmissions. It was because for a time there I had the contract with. I was bold when I was young. I mean, I'd walk into any big, huge company anywhere and ask for their work, ask for a contract. I was doing stuff for Sears and Roebuck, and I mean, Sears and Roebuck was big then. They had so many vehicles coming in that I would have 1 or 2 vehicles per week from Sears and Roebuck with major repairs, you know, $1,800 to $2,500 jobs.
Kathy says
couple of those a week.
Blairsville,
And
Georgia.
then Comcast, FedEx. I was doing the minivans for the post office, the Windstar minivans, because they were swapping in and out Jasper units for the other vehicles. Those the little Jeep vehicles. They just bought those. Jasper was practically giving them away for like $800, which was kind of crazy because everything that came out of those, it was wiped out from one end to the other. Lots of hard parts damage. I don't see how in the world they were making any money at all. I have a separate book with pictures of a god awful amount of company vehicles on my lifts that I was working on. I had a bunch of big accounts for a long time till the mid 2000s, and then I just got to doing a lot more retail work. And one of the biggest mistakes I made, when I made lots of mistakes in business, but I obviously did a lot of really good things too. But one of the mistakes I did that I regret the most was when I started neglecting some of my fleet for the higher paying retail jobs. And one thing you learn pretty quickly is that, you know, even though they may not be paying as much and they might be wanting their stuff faster and not pay as much for it, that sort of thing, it's still worth it to keep a lot of fleet accounts, because a lot of people that come in to your business, they will not tell you this. They might tell you, you know, they've heard about you from this place or that place, or this person or that person, but a lot of that business comes from word of mouth from your fleet, from employees of your fleet accounts and managers in that company that you're dealing with, and the owners of that company that you're dealing with. it ends up snowballing into a whole lot of retail work that comes from those fleets. And if you don't take care of those fleets and you lose one fleet account, what you don't realize is that slowly over time you'll lose a lot of retail as well. Toyota Celica 5-speed from a 92 ST. Have you worked on this kind? I did, but I don't remember a lot about it because I didn't have to work on the Celica 5-speeds very often. It was just very few and far between, and mostly I ended up just putting a new clutch in it because they just weren't that troublesome. Another problem I ran into with straight shifts was the fact that they're all hard parts. I mean, there's really not a lot of soft parts. I mean, your overhaul kit for a manual transmission is basically buying a bearing kit and a seal kit, and then you have to inspect all the gears and shafts for wear and find out which ones are wearing the synchro assemblies. What most people call a synchro is actually just a blocking ring. But your synchro assembly is usually what's wore out, not just the blocking ring. And you identify all these things, and every one of them's a few $100s here, a few $100s there. Sometimes you might have a cluster gear that's $1,000 or more. It doesn't take but 2 or 3 parts, and you can just buy a whole nother transmission. And so a lot of that happened. The last manual transmission I did was on a Mach 1 2004. A dual overhead cam, and they just ended up bringing the transmission. I got the transmission out, tore it apart, made my list of parts, told them how much the parts and stuff would be, and it was quite a bit in excess of just buying another transmission. So I just told them, just buy your transmission, bring it, and I'll put it in. And so I ended up basically doing a clutch job on that one because I put a new clutch in there when I put their transmission into it. And so it was just the labor for taking it out, and the clutch, I think, is like an extra hour for putting the clutch in, and then the labor for putting it back in. And and I think there was a clutch cable for that. And I remember that because I was very surprised that that later model of vehicle, Ford was still using the cables and still didn't have hydraulic on it. It was and it was hard. And it was a woman's car, and it was hard for her to be pushing that clutch in. It was difficult. They were going to do a cable. They should have at least put a longer rod, give her a little bit more mechanical advantage. Celica is stuck in 3rd gear. Yeah. Yeah, Kathy says Craig needs this worked on. Yeah, I'm retired from that. I just sell the parts now. This way, selling the parts and stuff, I never ever have to lift anything over 45 pounds, which is an empty case. An empty transmission case, 45, maybe 50 pounds sometimes. But all those years, 25 years of doing those transmissions is 150, 250 pounds a pop, constantly picking them up and throwing them around and twisting them around and wrestling with them and stuff. After the 4th hernia surgery, and I've got 2 ruptured discs in my back now too, and 2 more bulging. After the 4th hernia surgery, I decided I don't like surgery anymore. I'm tired of surgeries. I don't do surgeries anymore. In order to not do surgeries anymore, I gotta not do rebuilds anymore.
He wants to know if we got master kits for GM transmissions.
Actually, I have if I sell master kits for the GM transmissions. Yeah, I do. If you've got a specific one you want, just find me Victor Sane on Facebook. you can message me there, and I can give you my email address. And then anytime you need something like that, send me the particulars on my Facebook Messenger and my email, and I'll get you a price on it. Alfie says, what is your dream car? My dream car is sitting in my building out here. I brought it from my other building in Tennessee down to here. Nobody will mess with it. It is the 72 Mach 1 with a 351 Cleveland Cobra Jet in it.
It's a pretty car. It's red. He doesn't know it, but I've licked it already.
Kathy Turbin says, I got my dream car yet. She's got her dream car too. I guess that would make it a goal car, because it's a dream if it doesn't have a deadline. But if it has a deadline or you've already achieved it, then it's a goal, or it was a goal, and now it's an achieved goal.
No, because every time you get in it, you say, oh, this is
I still dream about it. Yeah, I still dream about it. Dream of driving it. A dream of doing more work on it. No matter how much work I do on it, I always want to do some more. I always want to do a little bit more.
Yeah, we got to go.
Even if it's just putting new windshield wipers on it.
Baby, sweetie, we gotta go.
Oh yeah, it is our time, and it's almost 9 o'clock.
I'm a sleepy girl.
We got 6 minutes. So anybody else got anything going on their channel? Please announce it now, because we got 6 minutes left.
To go. We are up here all hours of the night.
Yeah, I like hanging out with you guys. I would just keep going and going. What is your dream car, Alfie?
Hey, you can't comment on a Mustang. Mustang's best car ever made. Thank you. I guarantee it. Do you hear that sound? It's the first muscle car. Everything else is followed.
Alfie's dream car is an E35 M5 Cabriolet, 1989. We used to do a lot of work on Volkswagens and old Triumph motorcycles and stuff like that in the late 80s.
Yeah.
And I had, at one point, when we didn't have the big Mercury Marauder convertible, we had the little Scirocco Volkswagen. And I had that thing at one point, and this just doesn't sound very impressive nowadays, but at the time it was pretty impressive. It was 0 to 60 in 6 seconds in that little car. And that was a quick little car back then. Nowadays that would be considered slow, I guess. And Craig Durbin says, my wife loves her 2010 Mustang. I bet she does. Especially if she's got that dual overhead cam V8 in it. We dreamed of having dual overhead cam V8s back in the 70s and 80s. We almost had them back in the early 70s when they were experimenting with that big dual overhead cam V8 in the early 70s, and then all that, the horsepower ratings with the insurance, and then the gas prices and everything, and that just and NASCAR rules. I mean, it seemed like everything went against them producing that engine, and they just dropped it. And we didn't actually see any overhead cam V8s until the late 90s because of that.
And sweetie, I'm going to go to bed.
Okay, yeah, it's time.
See you all later. I can't stay any longer. I gotta go. I'm about to pass out right here. Goodbye.
Kathy Derby says she loves those little Volkswagen Bugs. Yeah, we had quite a few of those. Latest one was a diesel, and we had the big heavy duty clutch in it with the manual transmission, and had it set up for towing. And I would tow the Harley around on the back of it. I painted it bright yellow with eyelashes on it, and get a lot of looks with the little yellow eyelash Volkswagen pulling a Harley around. So that was a neat little tow bug. It get between 45 and 50 miles to the gallon, which is the Harley gets 44 miles to the gallon. So it was actually getting a little bit better gas mileage pulling the Harley than the Harley got driving it.
Bye bye, sweetie. I can't stay any longer. I gotta go.
Okay, baby. I'll be with you in just a minute. I'm gonna wrap it up here.
Bye.
All right, guys. She's tuckered out. Hey, I got one more minute to self-promote. Any new videos coming up on your channels? Let everybody know, and we will shout it out with you. Let everybody know here, and hopefully everybody will go and watch your new videos. Greg Durbin says no, she has the 4.0 V6, but that's plenty of engine. Yes, they do. The V6s produce plenty of power right now. Even back in the day when I had the little red T-top Camaro in the middle of the 80s, that thing, it only had the 2.8 liter V6, but it was fuel injected, and it was very lightweight. So was that car. So it performed very well. And that thing got better gas mileage than the 4-cylinder Toyota that we have, the Camry, as a beater car. It wasn't much better, but it was better. And it wasn't anywhere near as powerful as these modern V6s. All right. Alfie says that right now, at the minute, I own the 69 302 Ford Mustang Boss. It's probably one of the most valuable 60s era Mustangs that there is. All right, guys, it has been great. Thank you for being here. If you haven't checked out each other's channels, please do go ahead and support each other's channels. And when I say support, I mean support. I'm not talking just sub for sub. Actually watch each other's videos, full length, no short watching. And hit the like, comment below the video. You're welcome to use the hashtag Insanefriends hashtag. so they'll know that you are truly supporting and what you're doing, and that you're not just sub for sub. And be sure to come back every Sunday and Wednesday night at 7:30. And then we have all these other hashtag Insane Friends, so you'll have somewhere to go each night of the week. And I'll give them one shout out as we're wrapping this up. We're here on Wednesday night right now. Tomorrow night, it's Dorito and Lucha Cabra at 9:30, followed by Easy 2 Tips and Tricks, etc. from 10:30 to 12. Friday night, you can hang out with Horse's Shop at 8:30, and then followed by Twisted R Racing at 9 p.m. Saturday night starts with Chopper's Rule 1 at 6:30 p.m. These are all Eastern Standard Time, U.S. Eastern Standard Time. And followed by Fab Automotive Detailing at 9 p.m. Sunday starts the week all over again right here at Saneauto. Same Sunday Live is 7:30 p.m. followed by Gregory Salvatore's Live at 9 p.m. Monday nights, you can hang out with Etard Adventures at 9 p.m. And Tuesday nights is Bub's Vacation at 9 p.m. And then we're right back here on Wednesday at 7:30. It's great having you all here. I hope you are. Yep, we're still live. Horse's Shop. We're shutting it down right now. The Horse's Shop, you can see in the chat right there. He is live on at 8:30 on Fridays, but he will be taking a break for the holiday season. All right. Thank you all for being here. We have wishing hashtag insane growth for all our hashtag insane friends. Until the next video, get off the couch and get dirty.